Assalamu alaikum. C programming lecture number 9. This lecture talk about how we can use nested loops to solve some problems. Nested loops, it means a loop inside a loop. So we have inner loops and we have outer loops, and we are using nested loops to solve some problems like exercise number 1. We are here to solve exercise number 1. Write a C program to produce the following output for any even integer number n entered by user. That means we have to ask user to enter n, and then we should verify that n it is an even number, not odd number. If the user enter an odd number, we should display a message and ask the user to enter the value again, and then as example, please enter n. User will select 3, enter 3, not an even integer. Please re-enter n again. If the user enters 5, n, not an even integer, please re-enter n again. If it's 6, even number, it will show the following. The output is double dot, then 3 stars followed by numbers, stars by numbers, star follows by numbers, stars follows by numbers, and so on. So if the n equals 6, let us see, we will produce 6 lines with 6 columns in each line. So number of rows are 6 and number of columns are 6 also. Now let me start from the beginning. As I told you before, we have to solve the problem step by step. So I will do the first step. I will go to the compiler and start declaring the integer n. So integer n. Later, if we have a loop or nested loops, we have a counter I, we can use it, and counter j. Now we want to print a message, print f, print a message for the user. Please enter an even integer. Say that it is n, backslash n to go to the next line, outside semicolon. Now we will scan this integer as integer, so I will use %d. This integer should be given to the n. Now we know what is the value of n. After that, we want to check f. How we can know that this number is even? We want to check if the number n modulus to 2 equal to 1. It means that this is an odd number, not even number. In this case, we want to ask user to enter the value again, as you see here. So if this is true, that means if the number is odd, ask user to enter again. But this will work just once, so better to write while loop to recheck again and again until we get an even number. Now if I will run the program, I prefer before that to make a clear message, please re-enter an even integer n. Let me run the program to be sure that my program running well. Please enter an even integer n. This is 4, it's correct. Run the program. This is 5, not correct. Please re-enter an even integer. This is 7. This is 7 again, 7 again. This is 8. Good. Now let us think how we can produce this output. The output here, how we can produce this output. I will show you the output on the PowerPoint. I want to produce again to produce this output here. Okay, see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 columns in each line. 1 2 3 4 5 6 lines. I have 6 rows. So now we know number of rows and number of columns. We want to start now to run this code to output number of stars in one row and followed by numbers, then go to next line. Surely we need a loop. Now to go from one line to another line, we need a loop. Say that the counter of this loop is I. So I will go to the compiler now. I will start a for loop. Now as you see, we need the counter for each, the counter for the rows. It is I and started from 1, and it should be go from 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is number n. So I should be start from 1. I should be always less than or equal to the value of n, and I should be incremented by 1. Then this is the outer loop. And to go from if I equal to 1 as example, I want to go from the first star to the second star to the third star, then number, then number, number. So I will go from one column to another. So say that we have a j counter for the columns, so we can write for j should be start from 1, and j should be less than or equal to. Now j, it should be 1 as example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 it's n also. It should be n like this, and j should be incremented by 1. This is the start of the for loop, and this is the end of the for loop. Now surely if we are in I equal to 1 and we finished printing the stars and numbers, and we want to go to next line, after finishing this loop, I will go outside the loop and print next line. So \n to go to next line like this. Now what we are printing, now say that I equal 1 and j equal 1, will print star. I equal 1, j equal 2, print star. I equal 1, j equal 3, it will print star, and then followed by number. So as you see, the number of, or the columns, they are divided by two categories. The first one stars, second one numbers. So if n equals 6, we are printing 3 stars, 3 numbers. If n equal 8, 4 stars, 4 numbers. That means we can say that if the I value, if the j value, sorry, if the j value become, or j value less than or equal to n divided by 2, if this is true, we are printing what? Printing the stars. So we will print f like this, just print 1 star, just print 1 star, and if you wish, we can print 1 star with 2 spaces. Then like this, without \n, because we want to keep printing in the same line. If j less than or equal to n, divide by 2, print star, else print a number. Else surely we want to print a number. What this number? It's an integer, so I will reserve a space for integer. Print f, I will print, reserve a space for integer, which is d, and keep 2 spaces like here, 2 spaces. Outside from where I will get this number. Now see, when I equal 1, we are printing 1s. When I equal 2, we are printing 2s, and then 3s. So the number printed here represent the row number. So better to write here, print the value of I, and outside semicolon. Now let us run the program and see what will happen. Now say that number 4, that means 4 by 4. Very good. So if the n is 4, 2 stars, 2 numbers. So 4 by 4 matrix. Now 6, see, 3 stars, 3 numbers. Run for 8, same thing. Run for 10 as example. For 10 we have, okay, it's correct, but we have to control the width of the output. I prefer, instead of making spaces, we can remove the spaces here and spaces here, and we can say that -5 and here 1 2 3 4 5. Run again. This is 10, and let us see the result. For 10 it's correct. Thank you so much.